Frigidaire. It means the first refrigerator. It means a history of innovations that help make your home life better. And now we introduce the new Frigidaire French door refrigerator with over 100 ways to organize for maximum flexibility. Built with adjustable flip-up and slide-under shelving and stackable crisper drawers. It's the refrigerator that flexes to fit it all, no matter what your day will bring. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
Hi, I'm John Mallos. Welcome to this live edition of Connect with me on the showroom floor at Ventura TV on this day. It's a Wednesday morning, and so that means the world of sports, and we're going to be talking martial arts, and you can call in at 436-ME-TV, option 11. Very special program on this day. Make sure and tune in and call in if you're so inclined.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
We are back here on the program on a Wednesday morning, World of Sports. We're talking martial arts on this day, but before we get into that, I do want to remind you that tomorrow morning, it's already here. It'll already be here on Thursday morning, live at 10 o'clock here. Chief Jerry Dyer, the Fresno Police Department, will be here to talk about the fallout of the Keith Foster situation. He was, of course, arrested by federal agents on drug and conspiracy charges. He's not been convicted. He's out free. He's not in jail, incarcerated right now. 4 or 5 other members that were also arrested along with Foster remain behind bars. So we'll talk to Chief Dyer about that tomorrow. Also, Derek Franks will be here. He'll be talking about the Fresno Grizzlies. He is the Grizzlies general manager. Opening night tomorrow night at Chachansey Park. So don't forget about that. And in the meantime, we're going to remind you that you are watching us live on Comcast, channel 187, 43.6 if you have an antenna, 13.1 if you have an antenna, and then the replay comes later in the day at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on 13.6 YouTube and 4.6 Biz TV. That's on the Ventura Broadcasting Channels, part of the network here on Me TV and all the rest, and then the Twitter account at John Mallos Me TV. And so today I mentioned that we're talking about martial arts, and one of the most controversial sports for kids right now, and maybe even for parents, is the fact that they're actually signing their kids up as young as 5 years old to compete in MMA fighting for kids. Let's roll the videotape, my friends, and we're going to talk about this throughout the course of the program today. It's actually very popular, but kids are getting hurt, they're getting knocked out, they're getting broken arms, other types of serious injuries. Some opponents are calling this downright dangerous. Now, you're looking at Matt Smith, the owner of Pacific Martial Arts here in Fresno. He teaches 6 different kinds of martial arts fighting to his kids, but he is against kids being involved in MMA fighting. At this particular gym, there are roughly 350 children taking part and learning the fine art of defending themselves. Smith has been teaching self-defense to these kids as young as 5 or 6 years old since way back in 1989. But he teaches safety, how to balance, how to hit, how to kick. The proper instruction is not to put any of the children at risk or in any kind of danger. For example, in karate, it's much more disciplined than MMA, which sometimes resembles a street fight or an all-out brawl in a cage match. In fact, the California State Athletic Commission will not sanction these MMA kids matches, and the California Amateur Mixed Martial Arts Organization is also shying away at this point, not sanctioning. But martial arts in general is gaining in popularity with karate, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, wrestling, boxing, and Extrema. Live in our studio right now is Matt Smith. He is the owner of Pacific Martial Arts. He is here to talk about his martial arts gym and about MMA fighting kids that are, they're setting up these matches, and some kids are getting hurt. They're cage matches, they're hitting, they're punching, they're kicking, they're getting hurt, serious types injuries. And so this is a big controversy, not only here in the Central Valley, but throughout the entire state of California. You're welcome to call in 436-MeTV option 11 if you want to weigh in. We're back in just a moment.
It's almost time.
Now we'll find out once and for all about Clark Kent and Superman.
Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a TV show.
Yes, but who is he? What's his name?
He's Superman.
Golly, Clark, won't that be wonderful seeing Superman?
Fighting a never-ending battle for truth, justice, and television the MeTV way.
No one can do the things that Superman does.
The adventures of Superman.
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Tune in to Heartland for the best in true country music. Relive vintage specials, one-of-a-kind concerts, and country music's earliest videos. Heartland is the heart of country. The only place where you can find country music, country stars, and country lifestyles 24/7. Heartland, the heart of country.
Now on channel 13.2.
Glad you're back here on the program on Connect with Me on MeTV Fresno, and we're talking about mixed martial arts right here on the program for the very first time. Matter of fact, we're going to be entering our 4th year of this program here on April the 9th, and in all the previous shows, we've never talked about martial arts, and so Matt Smith, you're here to talk about your gym, your kids, and about this new thing, this new craze that they're calling MMA fighting for kids. Let me ask you, first of all, let's roll a piece of videotape from MMA. Whichever one you want to roll there, you can do the intro one first. I want to talk about the controversy involved in this, Matt. Why are there so many opponents who really oppose these matches taking place? Look at this. Look how small these kids are.
Well, there's a lot of opponents because it is a dangerous sport. It can be dangerous for adults. And for kids, it can be really dangerous.
Look at this. This is a cage match. I mean, they're coming in here. It's almost like a heavyweight title fight. I mean, coming in with so much fanfare and the hoopla. And I mean, do you agree with this?
I don't agree that kids should be doing this in the cage. I think it's good for kids to do martial arts training.
Yeah.
But not for sure, not cage fighting.
Look at this, a kid running around with a flag. Would you have a phone call? This is before the match even starts. Wait till it starts, because I want to stay with this video until the bitter end. You'll see it start. Caller, are you there? Go ahead.
Yes. You know what? I'm for and against it, but because of the age group, the kids are so small, their bones are not as strong, as an older person, or older young man. But what I do like about it is that these kids are learning self-defense, okay? Too many times we go into an elementary school and you have bullies and these kids don't know how to defend themselves, and they're getting proper, an education as far as defending themselves and not fearing a bigger person or whatever, and even though it's kind of brutal to see the kids take kicks, and I know there's going to be injuries. It's like anything else in football, whatever, it's a brutal sport and all that. But I think Matt's program, I'm not for or against it, but I do believe these younger kids who need something to defend themselves, too many, like I said before, too many times that you go into an elementary school or even high school, but in elementary school especially, and kids pick on them. So,
but caller, I want you to understand, we're not talking about martial arts right now. We're going to be talking about martial arts, the traditional karate and Brazilian jiu-jitsu and all that. We're talking about MMA fighting, which is unregulated, unsanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission. And these are brutal cage matches where the kids just go. They're not learning anything. There's no proper instruction or discipline like there is in martial arts. Do you follow me?
Yes, I understand. But I've seen it. I've seen the cage fighting. I mean, with the younger age kids. But that's a parent's prerogative if they want to get into it. I mean, it's brutal. Don't get me wrong. And there's controversy there no matter what you do. And myself, it's hard.
Okay.
But,
Thank you very much for the call. I want to roll another piece of videotape of the MMA boxing, which many people don't consider martial arts. It's just flat out street fighting. Go ahead, Matt.
What I was going to say to the caller is that, it is a fine line. I think for kids, they can learn all these techniques that could be used in the cage and not fight in the cage. So they could wrestle for a school wrestling program, and they can take a karate class or take a jiu-jitsu class and still learn how to defend themselves. But they don't have to, fight in the cage to learn how to defend themselves.
Right.
And I would say this as far as the whole bully aspect is that, just depending on their instructor, if a kid is learning respect and discipline for, respect for others, discipline, that sort of thing, they're likely to not be a bully. But if a kid is learning to win at all costs, you're in there, beat up the other kid, then that kid in a certain way is actually learning to be a bully.
Yeah, that's true. Caller, are you there?
Yes. I think it should be child abuse. I think the parents should be charged, and I think there should be fines against the parents. Even the children maybe should be taken away from them if they have to do this type of thing. I think it's totally wrong, and we should not stand for something like this.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the difference between, let's say, my kid, get something stolen from them, from a kid down the street. So I walk over to the kid and tell my kid to beat him up, and say, go on, beat him up, and make sure that nobody stops it. Make sure the kid gets beat up by my kid. I mean, wouldn't I be charged for some type of crime as well? This is totally wrong, and they should be prosecuted. Thank you.
Matt, do you want to respond before we go to break here?
Well, certainly I hear lots of parents say that, and they say, well, if I did what goes on in the cage to my child, I'd be charged with child abuse. And that's certainly a valid point. It's always a hard thing to issue to dance around parents' rights and that sort of thing, but I feel like the dangers are too great. And while I think martial arts training itself is excellent for kids, I think cage fighting is not appropriate for kids at all.
Yeah. We got another call here, but I'm going to go to break. We're going to come back with Matt Smith, the owner of Pacific Martial Arts, talking about MMA kids fighting. We got a call. We'll come back in just a moment.
You can find movies on over-the-air channel 13.3. Movies. Our name says it all.
When you're looking for Whirlpool innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, will help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified Whirlpool appliances save you energy and money and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
Back here with Matt Smith, the owner of Pacific Martial Arts here in the city of Fresno. We're going to talk about his club in just a moment here, but I think we've got a call. Caller, are you there on the line?
Yes.
Go ahead. You're on the air.
I was thinking, teaching young children how to do martial art is good because you learn when you're small. But, they should teach them some kind of wisdom, have some kind of class to teach them that, the wisdom of the martial arts, that they don't become bullies, that they, become good people, and they only use it for protection of themselves or their families, or but with the cage fighting, they should outlaw that. That's ridiculous for children to be fighting and acting out like they see on TV. There's too much violence in the world today. They should teach kids some kind of wisdom before they allow this. I mean, our government should allow this. This is ridiculous. I mean, if they want to do it in foreign countries, it's all right. But, you know, when you bring up a kid like that, that's all he knows. Yeah, that's all he will know. And believe me, I've seen it. I've seen my brothers, friends, and people grow up like that. And you know what? They end up in prison and dead. So I think they should teach kids more wisdom and do the karate, which is a good thing because, you know, everybody knows that once you become a black belt or a boxer, your hands are deadly weapons and you cannot fight with people. You cannot go look for fights. And these kids must be taught this when they're young, that, you know what, when you use this kind of fighting, you should you don't use it for fighting, you use it for self-defense.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say about the subject of karate.
Great. Thank you. That was a terrific call. Thank you for the insight, caller. Brings up some good points.
Absolutely. I 100% agree that, you know, kids learning, you know, respect, discipline, that sort of stuff in the traditional martial arts is outstanding. It builds character, it develops them, it does teach them how to defend themselves. And them fighting in the cage, you know, you have to question, what does that teach the kids? Just like the caller brought up. What does it teach them?
Yeah. Hey, I want to show you another piece of videotape. These are two girls fighting. We got two different pieces of video of girls actually fighting in a cage type situation. These are small girls. How old would you say they are, Matt, just by the looks of it here?
Wow, these are young kids, 6? Maybe 5 or 6.
Yeah. Now watch the action here. This is going to get pretty rough. It's going to get ugly here. One of the girls actually will get hurt. She'll start crying. You can see one of them's pinned to the ground there. And is that concrete there they're on, or some kind of mat, or what?
I think it's a mat. I don't. I can't imagine it would be concrete.
Yeah, but see that little girl's crying right there. She got hurt. She got hit in the nose. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead.
I agree with the self-defense, but there is a certain extent. I mean, you start them young, and you have to show them discipline, just as well as you have to show them discipline in the home by doing a lot of chores and everything to listen to their parents, because nowadays the kids will turn on their parents as well as they will turn on their opponents. It's good, but for the little girls, it just it makes it a little bit harder for them to understand, because when they start fighting, they want to get into a gang and thinking that the gang members are going to support them, when in the other way around, the girls are the ones who are supporting the gang members.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so I agree with it, but you have to go to a certain extent. I myself, my hands are registered. I cannot fight with somebody, because if I do, then I'm the one going to jail. And I don't want that for the young kids or the kids that are learning right now, because it makes it hard for them in life.
Yeah.
But I do believe in self-defense. I really do.
Yeah.
And I commend this gentleman. He's a sensei. But at the point, too, you have to go only so far, because it will warp their brain in a way, and in a sense. They'll notice that the only way to survive in life is to fight everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I appreciate the phone call, sir, and you bring up some outstanding points, and we've been talking about this. And have you noticed, Matt, I only got a couple of minutes here, I want to roll that videotape from the second part of the girls fighting there, the video number 2 of the girls. Have you noticed that every single phone call, they are against this type of MMA, boxing, fighting, whatever you want to call it? Look at these two going at it here.
Yeah.
They're against it. Every call's against it.
Well, clearly there's people out there that are for it. They're signing their kids up for it.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously, because we're looking at tape here, but not sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission. The Mixed Martial Arts, or Arts Commission, I guess, whatever you call it here in the state of California, they're not sanctioning any of these matches. But so who's putting these matches on? That's what I want to know.
Well, there was a small window where some sanctions got by, and then they can, of course, have events on Indian Casino land where the California State Athletic Commission has no standing.
No jurisdiction there, huh? Really? But these two here, these two little girls, if one of these was your daughter, would you let her fight like this?
No, this would never happen if one of these was my daughter. This match looks like it was actually not in an event. It looks like it was at someone's dojo. Or
what are they doing wrong? What were the two fighters doing wrong there? I know we got a call. Caller, hang on a minute. What were they doing wrong?
Well, I mean, the kids, it's hard to say that the kids are doing anything wrong because they're being encouraged by adults.
No, I'm not saying the action itself. So I'm telling you, when they're in the ring, it's like a street fight.
Yeah.
So they have no discipline is what I'm getting at, right?
Well, at 5, they probably can't have been in martial arts really long enough to develop a whole lot of skills where, you know, their ability to attack and defend is not like it would be if they'd been in for years and years and years.
Yeah.
You'll notice in adult MMA, at the very highest level, a lot of times those fighters are so good that they can fight and neither fighter really gets hurt.
Yeah. Caller, I know you're there. Hang on. We're going to take a break. 436 MeTV Option 11. Back with more with our show today with Matt Smith in just a moment.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified #1 rated high efficiency Cabrio from Whirlpool Place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Whirlpool Cabrio laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
Attention all units. We have reports of 2 motorcycle cops protecting California's highway.
That's for us, good buddy. The Men of Chips are on MeTV.
Hi, I'm John Baker. I'm John Baker. It's Officer Baker.
He's the blonde one.
Hi there. Officer Poncherello, man. Frank Poncherello.
Oh, I'm Frank Poncherello.
And he's the one who's Eric Estrada.
There's no way I wouldn't remember a name like that.
Catch the blonde one and the one who's Eric Estrada.
Now on MeTV Fresno, Xfinity 187.
Okay, we did have a call. Apparently, he's not there, but you can call back at 436 MeTV Option 11. Be a little patient here. We're going to be here until 11 o'clock. Matt Smith is here, the owner of Pacific Martial Arts. I want to roll that videotape of the 8-year-olds fighting. These are 8-year-old kids. We do have that phone call back now. And so you're not actually calling this martial arts. This MMA thing is not martial arts, is it?
Well, you know, mixed martial arts, way back in the very beginning, they used to call it NHB, which was no holds barred. And now there are some rules to MMA, but it's a combination of martial arts. You know, where they do some wrestling, some boxing, some kickboxing, some karate. So it's not just one martial art, but it is a combination of martial arts.
But what the kids are involved with once they get in the ring, it's almost like a street brawl. It's not really martial arts.
Right. I mean, their skill level is not super high, and so they're, you know, they kind of revert back to just fighting
because they haven't learned yet. Caller, are you there? Go ahead.
Yes. Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking, this is all entertainment for adults. I mean, this watching a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old girl fight in a ring is ridiculous. I mean, they could get injured, and it could have long-term medical bills, or you know, from some kind of injury that can get in their spine or their back. I mean, it's ridiculous. They're not even in shape. They look like little babies with little tummy. I saw a little tummy sticking out right there. That little girl that was crying. I think this should be outlawed, and I think any responsible human being should get on the phone or write a letter to his congressman and to the president and have this stuff outlawed, and just allow the kids that are 13 and above involved into this kind of entertainment. This is nothing but entertainment. It can't be called anything else. You're putting your kid in a cage to fight. Now, with karate, you're learning a discipline and hopefully some wisdom. And if the instructors let them know, you know, hey, once you learn black belt, you cannot fight with anybody. Maybe they'll make a decision and say, hey, wait a minute, I won't be able to protect myself or what, you know? So, they can make up their own mind on what they want to do.
Yeah. Good call. You agree, I assume.
Yeah, that was a great point, caller. And, the thing is in these kids matches, it is entertainment. You see crowds of adults watching and cheering. These kids aren't being paid. And I'm not suggesting that they should be paid. I'm suggesting they shouldn't be fighting in the cage. Whereas if you go to, for example, a UFC show, you're going to pay to go to it, and the fighters are getting paid, and they have insurance that covers the fighters. I have no idea if these events that are showing have insurance to cover injuries. I do know that there are injuries in some of these kids' MMA matches.
Yeah. Hey, roll a videotape. We got some 14-year-olds that are actually taking part in this. So some older kids do take part in this MMA fighting, so to speak. I think we've got a call. Let me see here. Caller, you there? Go ahead.
Yes, good morning, John, and good morning, Matt. Very interesting show today, and, I agree with most of the previous callers. I don't even consider it entertainment to watch these kids. I mean, I have kids that age, and I'd hate to see my kid in the ring like that. I did study martial arts, and I remember, and I did participate in tournaments much older in my age, after 18. And from what I remember in my training, is that even at tournaments there was very limited contact, and it was more of a point system. Can you talk a little bit about the difference between something like what we're seeing on TV now versus a traditional tournament in a competitive where martial artists or growing martial artists can test their skills in a tournament environment against other opponents?
Okay.
Can you talk a little bit about that? I'll take my answer over the air. Thanks.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So most martial arts have some form of point system. Karate has a point system. Judo has a point system. Jiu-jitsu has a point system. Wrestling has a point system, where the objective is to score points via different moves. In the point system helps kids learn the martial art. It helps keep them safe. Whereas in MMA, the objective, adult MMA, the objective is to knock out the other opponent, to submit the other opponent, or if you have to, it goes to a decision where the referees decide who is more aggressive. In kids MMA, they're trying to submit the other person, trying to strike and make them not want to continue, or go to a decision. And I just don't know that type of point system that MMA has is appropriate for kids, whereas wrestling, you get points for certain moves.
Yeah.
Same with jiu-jitsu and judo. So those moves are practiced over and over again in the dojo, and then you're attempting to do them in a tournament.
Right. This is, we got to go to break here. 436 MeTV option 11, talking about these kids competing in MMA. Matt Smith is here, but this controversy is almost, very similar to the controversy about young kids 5 and under, or even 5, 6, 7, and 8, playing tackle football. It's almost like the same controversy because of the head injuries. And you see some of these cage matches with some of these kids in MMA fighting really get hurt. And who knows if they're going to suffer any kind of long-term damage or effects from this. 436 MeTV option 11. We're going to come back here with Matt Smith in just a moment.
news. Must-watch news channel in Europe.
Want to create something extraordinary? Create perfection. Our lifestyle appliances make it easy. KitchenAid, Ventura TV appliance, and you, when only the best will do.
Thanks for joining us today here on Connect with Me. It's the world of sports, of course, talking about martial arts and MMA fighting for kids, and I mean small kids. Caller, you there? Go ahead.
Yes. I saw the one with the two little girls, and I was wondering, I mean, they don't even have the muscular frame for them to, you know, take the impact of these hits.
Yeah.
If they get hit in the head. I mean, those are two girls that were in the ring, and the one was a little larger. And if she would have smacked that little girl in the head, and she could have hurt her neck. I mean, and she would have had, you know, some injury that she would have the rest of her life. Where is this going on at? Is it in California? I mean, where is it? I've never seen it. I've never even heard of little children fighting like that. I mean, when you usually have kids like that fighting out in the yard, you break them up because you don't want them to get hurt. And they're putting them in a cage? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the call. See, every call has been against it.
Yeah.
Every call.
So caller, to address your question, yes, they have been here in California, amazingly. And there hasn't been one in a while. I don't know when the next one is. Obviously, as an opponent of it, I'm not on their mailing list.
Have we had one here in the Central Valley yet?
I have actually seen one. It was an exhibition match, and it was put on at a grappling tournament, and it was at Clovis West. And I saw a 6-year-old little boy get knocked out with a knee to the face.
Clovis West High School?
Clovis West High School. I don't know if they knew that they were going to have that exhibition there. I'm sure they didn't.
When was this?
It was about 2 years ago.
And you haven't seen it since?
I haven't seen it since. I was walking along. It was like I said, it was a grappling match. So I was I was actually there with one of my pro MMA adults.
Wow.
This guy was a heavyweight belt holder. We were walking along. We looked over and saw this kid get knocked out. He looked at me and he goes, "That was absolutely disgusting." So I was with a pro MMA fighter that held a world title belt, and we saw these 6-year-old kids. We didn't know they were going to be there. It was like I said, it was an exhibition. I don't know who set it up, and we were both just horrified.
Floored.
We couldn't believe it.
Yeah. I mean, it should be outlawed. There's no question about it. A lot of controversy. Kids are too young. It's kind of like playing tackle football at 5 years old. You know, I'm not going to sign my son up to play football at 5 or 6 or 7. Are you?
Right. No.
After all these head injuries and brain injuries?
The concussion research is starting to really snowball, and there's long-term effects for concussions. And you know, so if you put your child in a sport that is going to have a high risk of concussion injury, you are limiting your child's ability to, you know, who knows? Maybe they're not going to.
You're hindering your child's ability to learn if he suffers some type of brain injury.
Not just brain injury, but you know, cervical, spinal injuries.
Yep.
I know in one of the clips, one of the kids was doing a move, we call it a guillotine, where you arch back and deviate the neck.
God.
And in both judo and jiu-jitsu, that move is not allowed.
My God. Anyway, caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
Yes, I just wanted to make a couple comments. One, you know, I don't think you can get many callers here today that are going to say that they're pro the little kids fighting. Both because, first of all, they'll probably be scrutinized. I'm against it, of course, but I did take karate lessons as a kid. But one of the first things that Sensei did was 15, 20 minutes of it was nothing but learning the balance, learning defense, and learning meditation to have those steps to, you know when to stop. You know, and these kids, it looks like they really don't know when to stop, and most of it's the parents. You can see the parents behind them. Maybe they're drinking and they're yelling and they're shouting and it's cheering on. It's almost gladiator-like.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
A quick comment.
Exactly. That's a good point. It's almost like watching two gladiators, and these kids are not gladiators. They're kids.
Absolutely.
You know, remember the movie Gladiator?
I do.
You know, I mean, this is not what we're talking about. We're talking about growing kids that haven't fully matured yet with their bodies, with their bones, their muscles, their tendons. I'm sure you agree with that. So,
you know, caller, I came out against this a while ago, and you would actually be surprised. I've gotten a lot of I don't want to call it hate mail, but I've gotten a lot of flack for coming out against kids MMA. So it surprises me. I've had parents email me, not parents that are at my studio, but parents email me and say, you know, I think it's wrong that you're against this. My son is 4. I can't wait for him to fight in the cage. And I'm just amazed sometimes.
Wow. Caller, go ahead. You're next. Okay, well, call in next time. 436 MeTV option 11. Listen, I want to kind of deviate just a little bit. You are a black belt in karate, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, and eskrima. And you look like a very unassuming guy there, but I wouldn't want to mess with you. And so when you're talking about self-defense, and we can roll some of the videotape now from your studios, Pacific Martial Arts, of course, and you've taught there for a long time. We do have a caller. Caller, hang on for a moment.
Okay.
You know, the thing is, when you're teaching your class, what do you tell them if they're ever faced with a situation where they have to defend themselves? Is it muscle memory? Is it like golf? What is it?
Yeah, so there is a lot of muscle memory because sometimes the shock of a self-defense situation, it happens so quick that you don't have a lot of time to think. So they need to have a lot of repetition of the movements. I do tell my students that self-defense is kind of like dialing 911. You only use it when you absolutely have to, when there's no other options. You don't dial 911 for fun. You don't do self-defense for fun. You know, that would be another point that I'd have about this cage fighting is that, you know, these techniques are not designed to go out there and entertain a bunch of adults. They're designed to teach and help the kids defend themselves if they have to.
Yeah. Caller, go ahead. You are live on the air on Connect with Me. Go ahead, my friend. What's on your mind?
I'm getting back to that 2 little girls in the ring. I mean, the psychological part that can take place, the effect that it can happen to a child. I mean, these are little girls, even if they're little boys. I mean, just the psychological effect of being hit, hurt, and then later on turning into being a coward, you know, or just afraid of everybody because, you know, pain hurts. And they should not allow kids. I was wondering where else. I mean, because he mentioned somewhere that something happened in Clovis, and then he mentioned it happened, you know, in California. But where else is this taking place? I mean, it needs to be stopped.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they've had matches all over the country, and you know, I agree. Kids shouldn't be doing it, and you know, I'd like to see maybe the California Athletic Commission step in and really put its foot down.
How about the state attorney general step in and shut these matches down?
Yeah, I just think these kids are way too young. The caller brought up psychological damage, which I think is a great point. You know, what is it that we're teaching these kids through this?
We are talking with Matt Smith of Pacific Martial Arts, and we're going to tell you his location. He'll talk about his club when we come back here on Connect with Me, 436 MeTV option 11.
TV, your home for classic television. The greatest shows in history are here for you to enjoy. Join Cosby and Colt as secret agent men in I Spy. Ride along the Ponderosa with the Cartwrights in Bonanza. Hit the beat with Joe Friday in Dragnet. And that's not all. Retro TV offers endless fun and excitement for the whole family to enjoy. Retro TV, the best in classic television.
You can find Retro TV on over-the-air channel 13.4.
We're back here with Matt Smith. The name of his place is Pacific Martial Arts. It's been around a long time here in the city of Fresno. Hope you go out there and check it out. And caller, just hang on a minute. Your place is located where? On Blackstone?
Blackstone, north of Gettysburg, inside Sierra Athletic Club.
Oh, that's the old Dan Gamble building there, isn't it?
It's the old Dan Gamble Fresno Racket Time. It's been there for a long time.
Yeah. So how long have you been in that location then?
I've been there for 6 years.
6 years, and we're taking a look at some of your students here. All 350 of them. Well, we're not going to see all 350, but we're looking at 2 of them right now on the videotape, and we're going to talk more about that and what you teach them. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
So I think this is the mentality of the parents. I had a friend when my daughter was little, and she had twins, and they got in a fight with my daughter, and they were all 3'5", and I wouldn't let my daughter fight with them. And then they let their twins fight each other like little mad dogs. And she got mad at me because I wouldn't let my daughter fight those 2 little girls.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about the parents. They treat their children, I think it's child abuse.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people agree with you, ma'am. I appreciate the call. What do you teach here at your studios? Pacific Martial Arts in Fresno. What's the #1 teaching tool?
So we teach many different martial arts, and we teach ages 3 all the way up to 80, 90, however old you want to train. I know that one of our instructors that we have, he's still teaching, and he started training in 1941.
Oh, wow.
So it's a lifelong endeavor.
Yeah. Caller, go ahead.
Yeah, I was noticing when they had the girls fighting on there, the little girls.
Yeah.
On the ring, it showed that there was advertisement for the Army National Guard. I was wondering if they sanctioned this, or they're supporting it, or what?
So, caller, I'm pretty sure the Army National Guard did not sanction it. Probably that cage was used at an Army National Guard event. The Army has a program called MACP, and they do have tournaments. But remember, these are soldiers, so that cage, my guess is, I don't know 100%, but my guess is that cage was used at one of their events, and then it was in someone's warehouse, and they had it set up, and they used it for this private event.
I want to roll some more videotape from your Pacific Martial Arts building out there on Blackstone.
Mm-hmm.
When these kids come into your facility,
right.
What do they want? What are they seeking when you talk to them?
So most kids and parents, they want to develop some confidence. They want to develop some discipline, self-control, balance, some fitness, coordination. All those are the things that they're really looking for. And they can gain those things through the different martial arts that we teach. I have never had anyone come in with a kid and say, I'm looking to have my kid fight in the cage. They usually come in and say, my kid is shy, I want him to come out of his shell. My son is a little overweight, I want him to lose some weight. All these different things, the benefits of the martial arts, that's what they come for.
Caller, hang on a minute. Do a lot of the kids come in reluctantly, and the parents are kind of pushing them to go into your class a little bit?
I do have some kids come in reluctantly, and we try and make learning fun for the kids.
Yeah.
And that's really what makes a difference. That's what helps them to kind of buy into the program. And then once they do it, they get excited about it. They start to see gains. They are more fit, they feel better, they're able to concentrate better, and so then they're really sold.
Caller, go ahead. You're on with Matt Smith.
Hello. I'm asking a question, and I have a little comment.
Yeah.
It's against the law to fight chickens, dogs, et cetera, How is this allowed? I don't understand this.
That's caller, that's a great point. I'm so glad you brought that up. What made you think of that, by the way? What made you think of that?
I raise animals.
Oh, yeah, I never even thought of that.
I would not let one of my animals fight for money in a cage or otherwise. How can this happen with children?
I don't know.
Don't we have laws?
Yeah.
Caller, I can't really answer your question except to say that, it's not really illegal in the state of California. I can't answer that. I know that the people that are proponents of it, they put out rule books and try and change the rules if the laws change to try and make it. Basically, they're trying to make MMA cage fighting be in the same category with more traditional martial arts.
Roll a videotape from Pacific Martial Arts. We have a lot more clips to show you here. I want to show one more. And let me ask you this question. Is the objective, from your standpoint, to teach discipline, respect, restraint, teamwork, self-empowerment, maybe?
Absolutely. We want all of those things.
And how does martial arts do all of that?
Well, I mean, any one of those things I could probably spend a whole hour show on, but for example, confidence, which is one of the #1 things people want out of martial arts. So true confidence is built by achieving something you didn't think you could do. So if, for example, a child doesn't think that they can kick over their head or jump over, 5 pads that are on the ground, whatever it is, and as you train them and teach them and they're able to do something they didn't think they could do, now they gain real confidence.
And that's a big morale booster for that youngster.
I'll tell you something else about confidence. Confidence is the #1 way to defend yourself.
Yeah.
Bad guys don't typically attack someone that seems confident. They attack someone who doesn't seem confident.
Caller, I'm going to ask you to turn down the sound on your television set, and then go ahead. You're on the air.
It is already turned down.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. You're on the air.
These little children fighting in the ring, that's just brutalizing each other.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't give you any discipline or teach you like karate does.
Right.
It's something that is left in the backyards, like that lady said, dog fights, chicken fight, rooster fights. I mean, they should outlaw that. The government should outlaw this.
Do you have any martial arts experience yourself?
And getting into training, they start training at that for that kind of brutalization. They already know what their mind is about, what they think, how they feel.
Quickly, caller, do you have any experience yourself in martial arts?
Me and my brothers took karate when we were young, and we went to tournaments, and I have friends that black belts in karate and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yes. It teaches discipline, because that's the first thing. We studied, with a White Crane Society, temple karate.
Yeah.
And the thing is that they taught us to be disciplined.
Great. Okay. Caller, thank you very, very much. Time to take another break here, Matt, and we're going to come back and show some more video and talk about your place. 436-MeTV, option 11, running out of time. Back in a moment.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Whirlpool appliances we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Touch the new Whirlpool Ice Collection. It offers a modern style made to create an inspiring kitchen experience. Save big on this Whirlpool Black Ice or White Ice kitchen. Come into Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
A top secret location. It's the Spies Who Love Me, bringing together MeTV's top super spies to fight evil at a memorable moment's notice. They're daring, That's right. Breathe.
Now what are we gonna do?
The best we can.
Suave.
Does that apply to me, Oscar?
Possibly.
And smart?
The old finger in the gun trick.
Maxwell Smart.
MeTV Fresno, channel 43.6 and Xfinity 187.
Back here in the program, let's roll some more videotape from out there, Pacific Martial Arts. And, you know, I mentioned you have all these black belts, but I guess, you know, you've run into a few confrontations yourself, huh, when you've had to defend yourself. And I just wonder,
I have.
You know, see, here's what would worry me, is if I ever got into that situation and go, oh, my God, what did Matt teach me? What did I learn? What am I supposed to use? And so all these things would kick in, and I would hope that I would be able to react and remember what I learned. I mean, isn't that a key component to this whole thing?
Absolutely. One of the things we do is we do things in repetition, so you develop a muscle memory for the techniques.
We talked about that earlier, yeah.
Yeah, and I've had students that have had to defend themselves, and they come back and they say, Sensei, you know, someone jumped out, punched me, I did this move, and then they were on the ground. I didn't even think about what I did, I just did it.
Wow.
And so that's what we want to get to, is get to that muscle memory point. And ultimately, we want to get to a point where people are able to defend themselves and no one's getting hurt. You know, and I think as people develop confidence, they end up with less situations.
Yeah. Caller, go ahead.
Yeah, I hear him say muscle memory. I think it's more instinct afterwards. I mean, you don't have to beat the guy down and tear his face off. With karate, there's moves that you could just disarm the guy, use your hand to just get him in a position where he will give up. And you don't have to really hurt people with karate. That's the difference between karate and fighting in the ring. You're hurting people. You can, even if the guy is way bigger than you, there's a few kicks that you can do that can bring down a big, huge man to his knees, and he won't even get up. But the thing is that that's with a big man. But if a person's your size, you could just, and you know, if he grabs you, you know moves in karate to just handle that guy and get him in a position where he'll quit.
Okay. Thank you very much. Does it become more instinct as time goes on? Like with you, is it instinct rather than muscle memory?
Yeah, I think there definitely becomes a point where you don't really have to think about the moves. You're just reacting to what the opponent does. You can be thinking, you know, there comes a point where you're thinking 5, 6, 7 steps ahead of what's actually going on right now. You're dealing with the person right in front of you. You're looking around, seeing if there are other people coming at you, and so there gets to be this point where you're kind of ahead of the game.
This is your place here.
This
now,
is.
Are you teaching boxing here or what?
Right here, one of my coaches, Coach Mike, is working mitts with one of our teenagers, and so he's teaching him the skills of boxing.
Right, which is quite different than martial arts. And let me ask you while we're watching this, I know this isn't martial arts, it is boxing, but with maybe some of the movies that have come out in the past, maybe a long time ago, you know, the ones with Bruce Lee, the other one that comes to mind is Karate Kid. I can't think of any others, and maybe some of the Jackie Chan movies. Has that raised the popularity of martial arts across the board?
Absolutely. You know, every time a good martial arts movie comes out, we see a surge in enrollment. I think you know, the UFC has actually made martial arts more popular, but it's also made you know, gyms that are fight gyms, not martial arts gyms, more popular also.
Really?
So we try and we are a martial arts gym as opposed to a fight gym.
But you teach boxing there?
We do teach boxing, yeah.
Wow.
And we teach wrestling and kickboxing and jiu-jitsu. Eskrima, karate. So we teach we teach many different martial arts, all the same martial arts that would go into MMA, but we teach it in the context of kind of humanizing the art, not making it more barbaric, but making, making the students have a sense of respect and discipline.
Right. Now stay on that single shot. Get on that single shot of Matt just once more time, because I want to make a point here. You have a black belt in karate, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, Eskrima, and so look at Matt right now. He is a very unassuming guy, but the point I'm trying to make is don't go by looks. Yeah. Looks can be deceiving. Someone who you think you could take down, you may not be able to. Right. That's a note to all the bad guys out there. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one thing, we talked about this earlier, humility and humbleness are, a big part of the martial arts, and so we try not to be, braggarts and
right. Don't brag.
Exactly.
Right. Just do what you got to do, but don't brag about it. Caller, go ahead. You're on the air, and if we have any more video left, I don't know if we do. No more video? Okay, go ahead. Caller, you're on the air. Quickly. Caller? Hello? Okay, goodbye. Have a nice day. Anyway, running out of time here. So, yeah, be unassuming, but be humble, right? Do you teach that as well?
Yes, absolutely.
And how do some of the kids react when you tell them that? Because I'll bet some come in and they think, oh boy, I'm going to conquer the world.
Right.
This is really good. I'll be able to take anybody down. My big brother won't be able to mess with me anymore, right?
Right. Well, we try and teach them conflict resolution, because self-defense actually, isn't just physical. It could be identifying a threat and staying away from it. You just defended yourself if you didn't.
So part of it is conflict resolution?
Yeah.
Really? Mental, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really? Talk about that aspect of it.
So let's say that you have a kid and he's at school. He's able to de-escalate a situation. Then there's no fight. He doesn't have to physically defend himself.
So you teach that?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah. I have a degree in psychology. I also have a master's degree in education. So I utilize those skills from those fields as part of my training. So my training is not just physical.
Pacific Martial Arts, once again, located on Blackstone near?
North of Gettysburg in Sierra Athletic Club.
Okay, and the telephone number out there in case someone wants to call you and get a hold of you?
I'll give you two. My number is 436-4641, and the club number is 226-2600.
Okay, and we're out of time, so we can't take any more calls. Get out there. It's the old Dan Gamble building, right?
That's correct.
All right. Matt, you generated a lot of calls today and a lot of interest in this martial arts, MMA, kids fighting. We'd like you to come back at some point.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Come back and visit us again. We'll have you on as a guest.
I had a great time.
Okay. Thank you for your insight. I appreciate it very much. Matt Smith, get out there and see him. Pacific Martial Arts out on Blackstone, the old Dan Gamble building. Back tomorrow. Remember, Chief Jerry Dyer will be here to talk about the Keith Foster situation tomorrow morning, live at 10, Thursday morning. Don't miss it. See you tomorrow. Have a great day.